They say that culture and art is a reflection of the society that produces it. Owing that our society is a mirage, a fake house of cards surviving on the fumes of the memories of past greatness, then perhaps it's no surprise the latest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie looks like it does. Welcome back everyone for a Ninja Turtles watch party. So a teaser trailer for yet another adaptation, reboot, update, reimagining, whatever, for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles just dropped. And for the first time, you can see the collapse of any creative integrity, much less our entire society, without even watching it. What am I talking about? Observe the opening cards, the second of which proclaims, "A new generation of heroes." Now I know gaslighting is literally a daily occurrence in our society of constant info wars, but it rarely gets so forthright and blatant. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were created back in the early 1980s, been around for decades, and have now had numerous TV and film adaptations. There's nothing new about them, nothing. If you call this new, then how do you introduce something that is actually new and original? That's right, you don't. Because nothing is new or original anymore. Like I said, our society is surviving on the memory of past greatness. But there it is, right up front. They proclaim it as new and let the NPCs in the comments carry the enthusiasm. Now maybe my anger is irrational. I hear you, I'm overreacting. Obviously it means a new imagining, the NPCs say. I don't care. Do people have any standards at all? Do you just accept and rationalize this nonsense? Like, remember the last Batman film? There have been so many iterations of Batman and Bruce Wayne in just the past decade. What if they tried to pitch that as, from the shadows, a new hero emerges? Like what? Luckily they didn't, and you know why? Because that would be ridiculous. It's also ridiculous here. We'll get to the first card later, but as for the content of the trailer, there's really no actual plot, which is fine. I'm totally okay with trailers not giving away the goods, but it did show off the characters and their personalities. The basic takeaway is that the memorable teenagers are now all 8 fucking years old. I don't know who's doing the voices, and frankly, I don't care, but between the voices and the design, they come off as little kids rather than spunky teenagers. Especially Donatello. It's almost as if Seth Rogen was smoking weed when he approved all this. Come to think of it, he probably was. It's the eyes. In animation, the technique to make a character appear younger or cuter is to increase the size of the eyes in relation to the head. Notice how Donatello and Leonardo both have bigger eyes. That is making them look younger. Also, Donnie has glasses because Seth Rogen can't actually have a character come off as intelligent and mature the normal way. The normal way would be by having a character's actions and dialogue be consistent with the way an intelligent and mature person would speak and act. That's not possible here. Neither Seth Rogen nor anyone on the creative team is intelligent or mature enough to write a character in that way. So instead they give him glasses, so you know he's smart. Oh, piss off. And in case you think I'm making this up, check out this apparent flashback to young Donatello. It's the same features, even more so. His entire head is his eyes, and he's been wearing those stupid glasses his whole life, whatever. I also think it's interesting that the two characters who are supposed to be intelligent and mature, namely Donatello and Leonardo, are the ones with the bigger eyes. It's like Seth Rogen is attempting to counteract the personalities of the characters. He can't stand maturity. Now there's also a lot of talk about the animation style. Some are claiming this is inspired by Into the Spider-Verse. I don't know because I didn't see that, but I'm really unsure about what I am seeing. For one, it's much better than some of the other animation in Turtles shows that has been done before, but just because it's better than something else doesn't mean it's ultimately good. Honestly, the whole look gives me the vibe of walking down the street at sunset after a rainstorm. Yellow after the rain. Or yellow-orange after the rain. The problem is I'm not entirely sure this is fitting for a Ninja Turtles movie. This is something you'd have to wait and see the whole film to know for sure. I understand sometimes it's good to try something different, a whole new look, but that doesn't mean it's automatically a success. Now, a lot of people are complaining about the race-swapped April O'Neil. I have to take a contrary view on this, and I don't think it's so bad. That's mostly because the original April O'Neil was a red-headed ginger. As you well know, red-headed gingers are some of the least desirable people to have in a movie. I have to fully endorse Hollywood following the Irish government's lead in removing them from our culture wherever possible. No one wants to look at that. Eventually, no one will ever have to suffer seeing a redhead again. Get that off my screen. Now let's go back to the beginnings, the origins of all this. It's the first card in the trailer. From permanent teenager Seth Rogen. Not only is this as fake as the other one, it's completely ridiculous. First off, Seth Rogen is not a permanent teenager, he's more a permanent stoner. There's an important difference. You see, a teenager may be rash and impulsive, but could also be thoughtful, creative, and aspirational. You have your full life ahead of you. It's perfectly natural to be hopeful for the future. Something good may come. You have the ability to make it happen. Seth is the opposite of all that. His aspirations never went beyond getting high. Seriously, his real-life goal was to show his ass in every movie he was in. That always baffled people as they confused it with his face. But who actually aspires to that? Like, people may do it when needed, but as an aspiration? So no, he's not a permanent teenager. He's a freaking grown man who still wants to act like a carefree youth. It's sad, really. He is every bit of the meme. When you're as old as Seth Rogen and still into weed culture and trying to identify with the use, it's not that you kept your youthful spirit, it's that you never grew up. And by the way, the actual teenagers would think you're kind of weird, not cool. Compare Rogen to a Steven Spielberg. He has been credited for having such a youthful imagination. He never grew up, they say. Those observations fueled a lot of his early movies like E.T. and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It was also there in Hook, but realize that Spielberg did grow up. It's not that he didn't have grand visions of the future anymore, but his movies took on more serious themes and tones. Even science fiction films had deeper meanings about human nature. The point is, Steven Spielberg grew up. He matured. Seth Rogen wants to view himself as a permanent teenager. And by the way, why is Seth Rogen successful enough to make this stuff anyway? His only good films were in connection with Judd Apatow. He literally rode Apatow's coattails to the point where he didn't need him anymore. Then he was on his own and everything sucked since. Pineapple Express was his last decent film, and honestly, I thought that was overrated. I'm not into stoner weed culture. I would say there's a decent chance Seth Rogen could prove to be the male and Jewish version of Mindy Kaling. Will he do to Ninja Turtles what she did to the Scooby-Doo franchise? He's already reimagined as much as he can. Look at Splinter, for goodness sakes. Yeah, and having Jackie Chan voice Splinter makes as little sense as anything else. The race to the bottom is on. We'll see who wins. But I'm probably gonna skip this movie. There's far better stuff for my time. Have a great day. I'll see you at the next watch party.